We're back, Fight Fans, to the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
And we got one of the best 140-pounders in the world joining us now, Mr. Arnold Barboza.
What's up, champ?
Sir, thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
He has no shirt on. Looks like he's fresh out the gym or just ran a few
Yeah,
miles.
ready to go, ready to go.
He said, let me show them. Let me show them what I'm working with right here.
He's letting y'all know he has no problem making weight and he's ready to go, at next month. Listen, well, this month. First off, it's been almost a year, right, since you've been in the ring against Pedrosa. That was February, right, of 2023. In boxing now, there's been a narrative that, especially with PBC guys, that they're not active enough, and activity plays a part in your performances and why fighters look the way they do. Is that an excuse, or is that a fact, or is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a fact. You know what I mean? I think if you're active, man, you perform better. You know, I know that personally because, you know, when I was my most active, man, I fought, I remember in the bubble, I fought in August and then right away in October against Salcedo. And that was I think Salcedo was my best performance, you know? Yeah. So I personally know that, you know, staying active like that, man, it's amazing. Trust me, it's an amazing feeling, man. You just, it's like night and day.
Yeah, even after a layoff, though, you had a good performance against Zorrilla. How did you feel about seeing Regis fight Zorrilla and not doing so well?
Well, you know what, to be honest, man, I remember Regis tweeted out, he was like, oh, you just went 10 rounds with a guy named Zorrilla, don't ever mention my name. So I retweeted that when he fought, after he fought him. And I was like, man, like, because someone had retweeted, like, oh, well, this didn't age well, you know what I mean? So, But it just goes to show, man, you can never, you know, I don't know if he, you know, overlooked him or whatever, but Zorrilla's a tough fighter, man. He could punch, you know, so we took that fight because, you know, because he was ranked and you know, we wanted a tough fight. So we took that fight.
Yes,
going into the Regis and Devin Haney fight, what was your, I don't want to say prediction, but how did you see that fight playing out? Because I think that Devin was a favorite, but nobody saw it being that one-sided. Did you? I
did. You know what I mean? I think I did, you know, because, you know, I mean, Regis was like, oh, don't knock my last performance. But I mean, you can't ignore that, you know what I mean? And then Devin being, you know, probably longer and more of a boxer, faster, sharper, you know, it's kind of like, man, I don't know. And then at 140, you know, probably feeling stronger. So it's kind of like all the odds were against Regis, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. So check this out. You know, at one time you was like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up because Tio was like, I'm gonna retire. WBO is gonna be vacant and you could probably fight Ramirez for that. So after that died out, he's like, I'm keeping the belt. Where does that leave you now? Do you think the WBO is gonna mandate you fighting him? Is gonna order that fight between you and Teofimo Lopez?
Well, you know, I'm hoping, you know, well, my goal is to, you know, put pressure on Teal's neck and kind of put his back against the wall and kind of force him to fight me, you know. I don't know how it works, him being a super champion. You know, I know that he can get a voluntary this one, and I don't know if he, you know, I could be the mandatory for the next one. But, you know, hopefully, man, you know, that fight could still happen. That's, you know, I'm #1 in WBO, so that's where I want to stay. You know, I want to fight for that belt. And if he can't, you know, he doesn't want to fight me, he should vacate it, or, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how, like I said, I don't know the rules of the super champion. I don't know how that works. Yeah, but you know, Golden Boy now behind me, man. Hopefully they could pull some strings.
You know, I'm glad you brought up Golden Boy because that was my next question. We all know the situation with the WBO, but what about fighters that are fighting on the same network as you, as Ryan Garcia? Not only same network but same promoter. Are those questions that you're asking those guys over there at Golden Boy, Oscar and the rest of them about that fight, or even a possibility against a Devin Haney after his performance? He's also fighting on DAZN with Matchroom. Are those names that you're throwing out there as well?
Oh yeah, of course. You know, I think you know, if that Haney and Ryan fight doesn't happen, you know, I think that's the easiest fight to make is me and Ryan next. You know what I mean? Because he, you know, he's the same promoter, same network. You know, and also Eddie Hearn's guys. You know what I mean? They're the same network, DAZN. So there's a lot of other people on that side too. So I mean, that's a big reason why, you know, I wanted to sign with DAZN and you know, and Golden Boys, because at the end of the day, it's all DAZN. We can all fight each other. You know what I mean? And Oscar's been working with everybody, so that's a plus, man.
You know, one time I wanted to see you and Ramirez. I think that's a tough fight. You know, Jose Ramirez, he kind of reminds me of you. You know, you guys are like similar style, a lot of punches, but I thought you guys would be fighting for the WBO strap. So if it's not a fight for the WBO strap or any strap at all, is that still a fight you want, having the same manager?
Of course, 1,000%.
Wow.
I've expressed that to my manager too. You know,
Wow.
I told him a lot for years. You know what I mean? I said that if like I said, first getting through this one because my opponent's very, very tough. So hopefully getting through this one, hopefully if that fight was to happen, if like I said, if I can't get a title shot with any of the champions, then a big name is what I want, like a Ryan, like a Jose Ramirez. Even if it's not for a belt, like hey,
really,
let's give fight fans a good fight.
Because I figured the manager would be like, wait, no, hold on, man, slow down, bro. That's my guy. Like, stop. You guys fight everybody else. Don't fight each other. Managers aren't Rick isn't like that.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like because at one point, me and Ramirez were gonna fight because the WBO had ordered us. Yeah. And I was excited, man. I was like, oh man, finally. But I kind of knew in the back of my head, T was gonna pull some funny shit. So I was like, you know what? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I disagree with you, Barak. I think that's a perfect scenario for a manager. He's going to make money off of both sides in one fight.
Yeah.
So,
but you know how long it took back in the days, like Al Heyman, when he didn't have many fighters, you didn't see Al Heyman fighters fighting each other. It took a while.
I think those days are going to be long gone soon, as we talked earlier today about just big fights happening, regardless of guys even being friends. This sport is a business, and this is how these fighters feed their families, and they're not going to walk away from an opportunity because we have the same manager or we're friends or we sparred. I think those days are long gone. But moving on, I really want to talk about the fighter of the year. There's a lot of people have been having lists and picking their fighters of the year, their fights of the year. And I want to know your assessment on that. Like, who do you think had the most successful year in boxing? Just who had the biggest wins? Who would you call the fighter of the year?
I mean, me personally, I think, Terrence Crawford, will be my fighter of the year. I know he only had, one fight, right? But that fight was bad against Spence. Spence was like, at one point, like, no one wanted to fight him. He was boogeyman, you know what I mean? And the way Terrence Crawford beat him, too. Yeah. You know what I mean? He just made that look, man, like his easiest fight that he's had in the past few fights.
That's
what I mean? So I was like, damn, man, this dude's crazy, So me, I personally, I would give it to Terrence. You know what I mean? I mean, me personally.
Yo, speaking of boogeyman, do you ever call yourself the boogeyman of 140-pound division? I know some people are calling Matisse that, but you've been around the championship level, like right at the door for a long time now.
Yeah, man. You know what? I've found some pretty decent names. You know what I mean? Like, and some tough names that a lot of people wouldn't have fought. In my position. You risk it, right? But like I said, man, you know what? Matias is a good fighter too, and
you think he's the most dangerous at this
I think Matias is the most dangerous 140 pounder. I don't think he's the most skilled, but I think he's the most dangerous 140 pounder for sure. Like out of the champions, he's the most dangerous out of all of them.
Who's the most skilled?
The most skilled, I think, is Haney. I think I got to give it to Haney. Out of the champions, I mean, Rolly's for sure not more skilled than Haney.
How does Matias and Devin Haney play out? How does that fight play out?
Oh man, you know what? That's a good fight. You know what I mean? That's a good fight. But if Haney has the conditioning for it, I think Haney could box beautiful. You know what I mean? But Matias, man, he's a guy that you got your output got to match his output. You know what I mean? And if you can make it
pressure.
If you gotta stay, because there's guys that you can't box. You know what I mean? There's guys that you can't look pretty and move around the whole fight. You just can't. You know what I mean? Matias is one of those guys that unfortunately you're gonna have to bite your mouthpiece down. You're gonna have to receive something, give something, and you have to have that output.
There you go. All right, so you just named those three, and then you got Teofimo Lopez. Those are all little 4 belt holders. If you had it your way, what order would you fight those 4 guys?
Oh man, easy. Teo first, of course, everyone knows that. Haney, and then I'll do Matias, and then I'll do Rolly.
Why are you leaving Rolly for last?
I don't know. I don't think that. Nah, man. You know what? I don't know. I don't know what's the situation. You know what I mean?
Everybody's leaving Rolly for last.
No, I want to know. I just want to know.
If Rolly was to be like, because I mean, Rolly's, every time I see we shook hands, we were nothing bad.
That's cool.
But like you said, they ain't no friends in boxing. You know what I mean? It's business. You know what I mean? But if he was to be like, let's fight something, like, let's fight. I try to kind of like, I'm like, Rolly will be looking at me like, hey, Rolly, what's up? You trying to size me up? And I'm like, nah. And I'm like, all right, cool. Just checking.
He's sizing you up. All fighters size each other up.
Yeah, he sized me up. That little face he has. I just laugh, man, because you can't tell. He's a funny dude, man. He's a cool dude, yeah.
Tank Davis is a big name that's been attached to Devin Haney. Bill, after his Regis fight, Bill Haney was trying to get the Tank fight, who's a 135-pounder, but has fought at 141 time against Barrios, right? Do you think Tank is a threat even at 140 if he moves up to this weight class to compete against all of those guys?
Oh, 100%, man. You can't knock his talent, man, and what he's done. You know what I mean? Tank's is a great fighter, man. I think he's on his way to be a great fighter. So I think he stands a chance against anybody, really. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, I would love to see him at 142. So it doesn't matter. It don't matter to me.
What's crazy is that you just happen to be in the best division of boxing that fast. 140 became the best. You got those 4 champions we named. Then there's you, Hitchinson, Josh Taylor. There's just so many guys out there. Ramirez, Gary Russell. It's just ridiculous. Would you stay in this division even if, let's say, you didn't get a championship fight in next 2 fights? Would you still stay in this division?
Oh, of course, 100%. I'm comfortable. You know what I mean? I have no trouble with the weight. Like, I started my career at 47. I don't know if people know that.
No, I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah. It's because when I came back to boxing, I played football I stopped boxing for a long time. So I got
to the NFL,
football.
Right?
Yeah, I thought I was, yeah. So I blew up to like 215 pounds, just lifting. I was a linebacker. So
what position was you playing? Linebacker?
Yeah, I was playing linebacker, fullback. So I was at 215 when I got back to the gym. My dad had me sparring 6'3", 6'4", 200 pound heavyweight.
Oh man.
And then I dropped down to 165. Had a few amateur fights at 165, and then I made the nationals at 154, and then I made my debut at 147. Had about 2 fights at 47, and then I just started dropping. My dad was like, "Man, you're too small. Like you could keep going down." So I had to be careful though, because I didn't want to drop too much, because I had to get back used to it.
Gradually.
Yeah.
Now, what was that determining factor, Arnold? Saying to yourself, "Look, I'm not going to go far in football." Did you want to go play in college? Like, what was the determining factor in you saying, "All right, I'm going to take this boxing thing serious, and this is how I'm going to feed my family"?
Yeah. Funny thing is, man, I went to I remember it was a JC college in Fullerton to go check out the football team right, before I graduated, because there was a coach that was there that wanted me to play for there. I went to the weight room, man, and I thought I was strong and big, and I seen these dudes, 6'3" dudes flexing on me, and I was like, all right, nah, this is not for me right here. You know what I mean? So like they're warm up. I'm like right there maxing out, So I'm like, nah, you know what, man.
You said to yourself, I want to fight guys my own size.
Yeah. So I was like, man, honestly, I didn't know like what to do. I was like, man, what am I gonna do with my life? Well, I don't want to work at a warehouse my whole life. And I was like, you know what, man, I know how to fight. I mean, I was street fighting a lot at the time. So I was like, man, I fight in the street. I might as well get paid for it. I was like, I'm just gonna go pro, just say I did it, because I started when I was 5.5, and I did put so many years into it. So I was like, all right, let me just try this boxing thing out. And to be honest, man, I didn't think, really, I was going to get to where I'm at, because I just didn't think so. I was at a long road. I was working at a warehouse. I had a full-time job, night shift job, paid really good.
When did you quit that job?
Man, after I signed with Top Rank. So after I had signed with Top Rank.
So that was like 7, 8 years ago, something like that?
Yeah. Around there. Yeah. So my dad told me, hey, you have a choice now. He's like, whatever decision you make, I'm happy with it, because my dad too is like a long road, So I was like, man, you know what? Forget this job. I'm gonna just roll the dice, and just go box and
obviously that was the best decision you could have made.
Man, it's the best. It's like I play craps and I always crap out, but I haven't crapped out yet. So we're good.
Now you roll CeeLo on that one. All right. So speaking of your father, what does your father think of? Because I know you said before that it's not really Tio, it's really Tio's father. What does your father think of Teofimo Sr.?
Oh man, my dad. Oh man, my dad makes me laugh. My dad's a real chill guy. You know what I mean? And he's just like, man. I was like, hey, Dad, what would you do if Teal's dad got in your face like that? When we see him do that to other people, my dad would and knock his teeth out. So my dad don't play, man. My dad don't play.
So is that, if that fight ever happens, will there be extra security around? Is it going to be real intense leading up to the fight on press conferences and weigh-ins?
Oh man, I hope they do. I mean, I would think. Yeah, I mean, I would think Top Rank knows and they'll be smart enough, man. Because I mean, that's someone I genuinely like. I don't like. You know what I mean?
Really?
I don't say that a lot to a lot. I mean, I really like. I like everybody. You know what I mean? And he's just one person, man, that I just can't respect. Him and his pops. I just can't.
All right, but you know what? We're doing all this talking. We haven't even talked about in Dongani, because there's just so many. I'm so sorry. There's just so many great fighters in your division. How do you rate this opponent as a fighter?
Man, you know what? He's very tough, man. I seen him the fight with Haney. You know what I mean? He lost to Haney. He lost recently to Mercado, who's not bad, man. He's not a bad fighter either. And man, he's a tough. He comes to fight, man. You know what I mean? And it's a fight. When I haven't fought in a year, so I'm excited. You know what I mean? I've been training my ass off, man. I've been in the gym this whole time, anyways. But my weight's good, man. I feel good. Man, I can't wait, man. Trust me. My Golden Boy debut, my DAZN debut, man, with you guys, man. I'm just excited.
A lot of guys at 140 been making statements fight. I mean, look, I know you don't like Teofimo, but that was a hell of a winner against Josh Taylor. He made a statement. Obviously, Matias has been making dangerous statements. Devin Haney made a hell of a statement against Regis Prograis. How important is that for you?
Hold up, you forgot Rolly. You forgot Rolly, his statement.
Okay, again, how important is it to you to make a statement on this next fight?
Nah, man, you know what? It's important. You know what I mean? It's important to look good, to feel good, fight good. I'm not putting no pressure on myself. I know the way I've trained is gonna take care of that. You know what I mean? I'm like I said, I'm excited. Because Golden Boy has been doing their job on promoting me, right? You know what I mean? And now it's my job. Now it's my turn. You know what I mean? And now it's my turn. Now it's my turn for the DAZN to see me and see how I fight. You know what I mean? So I'm just excited, man. It's very important for me, man. This fight is very, very big for me. I train like it, and I'm just excited. Exactly.
Even though I joke about Rolly, I only joke because he hasn't had a defining fight yet, but he looks like he punched like a middleweight. The kid punches extremely hard, and you can't take anyone lightly, just like in Dongani, you can't take him lightly as well.
No, of course, man. And I'm not taking, Ngannou lightly either, man. I seen him fight, man. And actually, funny stories. We and him were supposed to fight, I believe, like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and then the pandemic happened right before the pandemic, and then it happened. So we didn't have a chance to meet up, but yeah, man, I'm very excited, man. Like he has some pop to him too. So that's the fight that we're very looking forward to, man. I think our styles are gonna match up great.
Well, 100%. Now you guys get to fight and see what would have happened back in the pandemic. Looking forward to seeing you back in the ring. As always, pleasure talking to you, champ.
I appreciate you. Thank you.